Hey everyone, welcome back to Two Rivers Tabac Book Club. I'm Andrew and I'm joined by my co-host Joshua.
Well, howdy, y'all.
How's it going, everyone? We're covering Wheel of Time, Book 9, Winter's Heart. It's by Robert Jordan, and we're going to be covering the prologue and then chapters 1 through 10 today. So we can hop right into it here. Just talking a little bit about the prologue. So one of the Aes Sedai, and I know this kind of continued from the previous book as well, I think, but sniffing out like the Black Aja and then like messing around with the Oath Rod. So I feel like it was a little bit more of that where I think her name's Taline admits she's Black Aja, and then she says that Elida, the Amerlin seat, is Black Aja too. So I believe that means she definitely is, right, because she took the oath rod and
Well,
swore on it or whatever. But
well, the
yeah, go
thing
ahead.
is, she believes that the Armelin
Oh,
seat
okay.
is Black Aja, but we know that Elida isn't Black Aja. She's just Red Aja. Uh, but the reason they think she's Black Aja is because they're like, We know everything she does, and she knows everything we do, and she's doing stuff we want to do, so she must be Black Aja." But in the previous books, we found out that the actual like Black Aja is blackmailing the Armulan seat.
Yeah, okay, I
So
remember
that
now.
that's yeah, so that's the whole reason Elida's even started this in the first place, was so that they could catch the Black Aja, bring them to the light so that the other sisters who hopefully outnumber the Black Aja will save her basically from her position that she's in with them.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense now. And that I'm thinking about a little bit more too. I think when she swore on the oath rod, she just swore to obey them or whatever, but I don't think she necessarily swore to. No, I guess that would mean she'd have to tell the truth too,
Yeah,
but
she
yeah.
she can still tell the truth. It's like, but like she believes Elida is the Black Aja because like a lot of them don't know
Each
who's
other,
who.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so she believes that Elida is Black Aja. So now this is adding. She's like, why would Elida, if she was Black Aja, why would she tell me to hunt down other Black Aja? It doesn't make any sense.
True. Yeah, that is kind of weird.
So that's where they, at least like to me, that's like where they're at.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was kind of the main thing I took from the prologue was just covering that stuff, like you said, more of the Black Aja stuff. Obviously, we have Egwene like getting ready to kind of lay siege to the tower, but just got more like Black Aja stuff happening in the tower.
Yeah, I my favorite part of the prologue was when it showed Elaine and Avienda becoming sisters, and we got to
Oh
see
yeah,
some
yeah,
more lore.
yeah. I'm about
Like,
to. I was about to move on to that part, but
oh,
yes.
sorry, I
No,
didn't
you're good.
let you go.
I was just seeing if yeah, there's anything else, but yeah, no. The yeah, we have the first sister ritual, which was interesting for sure. This-
Hilarious.
yeah, very. This whole section has a lot of just like the girls getting naked for
Oh
various
yeah.
reasons, and I know
Oh,
we've had that happen with Robert Jordan before too. But yeah, I mean it's not
it's
surprising.
for the it's for the plot.
Yeah,
It's
right.
the lore.
Yeah, they
It's
have
the
she
plot.
has to strip down in front of the Ashaman and get led in order for it to be correct.
Exactly. Who wrote this? Stephen King? I'm just kidding. But like, my one of my favorite part of like that ritual too was when they're like talking about like, all right, now tell each other what you love about each other, and then they do it, and then they're like, now tell us what pisses you off the most.
Yeah.
And I love both of theirs because Elaine's is like, Avienda got to have sex with Althor, and I didn't get to
Yes.
do it, and I'm so jealous, and it pisses me off because I've known him longer and like all this shit. Then Avienda's just like, I don't think Rand will love me as much as he loves Elaine. And it's such a like interesting dynamic for the two characters, cuz I mean it's just interesting to see these characters interact like this.
Right. And I know we've talked about this previously with like women in real life. Being okay with this, probably not likely in real life, but
Well, I think
um
that depends.
I'm sure it depends. I mean, maybe if you're a Mormon and you're like, all right, it's whatever, I'm just gonna, fuck this guy as well. But yeah,
I
especially
have
with them like actually being sisters now, or at least seeming like the way from this point on, the way that Robert Jordan refers to them is like they're like actually,
yeah.
sisters, which is interesting. It seems stronger than like the well, it's definitely stronger than the fucking Warder Aes Sedai bond because I mean the only thing the Aes Sedai has to do is just grab your face for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean they can like
They can.
soul rape you in like 5 seconds. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, literally.
with
Talk.
this one, it's like in depth, right? Because you have to say something you hate about each other. You have to say something you love about each other. It kind of reminds me of like on the playground, like when you were a kid and you had a best friend, and you're like, I know everything about my best friend. I know what he hates. I know what he likes. I don't know why it makes me think of that, but yeah. And then you have to in this you have to slap each other.
Yeah. Hit her as hard as you can, and then they did it. And then
As
they're like,
soon as that was mentioned, and like, I mean, obviously with Avienda, I'm like, she's gonna like absolutely annihilate Elaine, just like
yeah,
hit her so fucking hard, which she does. But
yeah. And then it's like, I love the whole thing after that, where they're like, now that you have struck her as hard as you can for no reason at all, you will think twice of doing it again or some shit like that. And I was just like, damn. I was like driving a company car somewhere to like pick shit up, and I was just like about to bawl my eyes out on the highway. I'm like, I can't see.
yeah.
I'm driving.
Dude, I love this relationship, man. Because, like, I mean, we've talked about it previously too with his writing, but everybody's kind of an asshole to each other, you know? Even, like,
Mm.
even the boys are assholes to each other, like, a lot. And, it's kind of nice to have Avienda and Elaine, even though, like you said as well, like, they both are in love with Rand, they still get along. And, like, for the most part, can get along. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love the lore.
True.
I'm learning lots of stuff.
The trend of Aiel bullshit being weird continues.
Yeah.
Let me just strip you
I
naked, take you to this weird place, and then yeah.
I can relate. Like me, like I live in the desert, so I get it.
Yeah. There's definitely some weirdos, for sure.
Dude, it's just I think the IEL, like if I had to like compare their lore to Dr. Seuss lore, they're basically the fuck. What's that little orange thing? The Lorax.
The Lorax.
They speak for the trees. Yeah, 'cause
Oh, okay, okay.
like
Except they speak for like the desert, or
no, they call like the main people or whatever they call them like tree
oh
killers.
yeah,
They
yeah,
hate tree
yeah.
killers, so it's
True.
like
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I would have never thought of that comparison. That's interesting.
uh, what? You need to read up on your Dr.
Yeah,
Seuss.
apparently I gotta go back and read the Lorax, which is a good story. But
Yeah, like remember when Cat in the Hat like soul raped uh the
yeah, the
Grinch
Grinch and
it made
bonded
us
him without
bonded.
his consent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Dr.
It
Seuss
was crazy.
really he was a visionary.
What a freak. I love Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, me
Apparently
too.
cheated on his wife. But anyway, what else happened in this prologue?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I feel like a lot of well, when he was writing books, it was what like it was near World War II because I remember he like did anti-Nazi cartoons, but I mean back then, like I feel like men just were
Yeah,
kind of pieces of shit, but
they're fantastic. I love them.
know.
It was like I think she was like dying of like some sickness or something, and then he
Oh,
was just banging some chick on the side, and then when she died, he
nice.
remarried.
Okay, fair
But
enough.
I like red fish, blue fish. Wait, no, it's one fish, two
Yeah,
fish,
one
red fish,
fish,
blue
two
fish.
fish, red fish. There's a song by Young Gravy. Goes one thought, two thought, red thought, blue thought. Look that up. It's a banger.
Well, is that a reference to Dr. Seuss, which is referencing the Aiel?
Yeah, Man, who knew
Dude,
Young Gravy was such a visionary
who knew
as
that the
well?
wheel of like the the theory of wheel of time transcended into modern literature, like just a never-ending cycle, you know.
Yeah, man. Just like the wheel wills,
The
or the
wheel of
wheel weaves as the wheel
the,
wills
damn right, I'm gonna get that tattooed
on your face
on
or
my
where?
cock.
Cock? Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, except it's not big enough to get it, so I'll have to abbreviate
It's like
it.
TWW
Ew,
fucking
what's that?
acronym.
It's my dick.
Man, legendary.
what what happened? Okay, we can go back. So what happened next?
Yeah. Okay. So I
Or
think
what?
that's the two main things I think that I got out of the prologue.
Oh, then you did take this note down
Yeah. Go
because
ahead.
that happened at the very end of the prologue. Uh, Rand, Al Thor, and I guess Min tagging along. Rand's gonna try to destroy the evil part of the men's.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Dad,
Yes.
he's gonna destroy the taint. He's out to destroy
Yes.
the taint. I am so fucking hype for that
So
shit.
yeah, he's gonna cleanse the male half of the source, Sidene, right? So it's and
Yep.
like I know we talked about this a long time ago. I don't know. I don't think we recorded it because it was a really long time ago. But we talked about like the taint being a major issue and like what would happen to resolve it. And now it seems like we have a possible solution here where yeah, like he could actually cleanse it, which would be insane.
Like, I just I don't know what Rand's gonna how he's gonna do it because it's like Rand because we never know any of his plans. Like that's the one thing about these books that I kind of find entertaining is that like you never know, you have no idea what Rand's gonna do because then even when he like discusses his plans, it's like off screen and to other people and then like Perrin's like, whoa, it's fucking crazy. Okay, he's like, but then
Yeah.
he doesn't even know everything, or like, oh, Rand said only a few people. There's only like one or two people who know his entire plan, or at least most of it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I know Rand obviously at points has made a point to like do a different path. Like everybody expects him to do something, but he does the opposite. Especially with like the Ashaman, like nobody really expected him to start like training them this
Yeah,
early. Which
it's
kind of backfired a little
that's
bit, but you know, it'll probably end up being overall a good thing, I would think. Especially
yeah,
if he
because
cleanses the source. But
I feel like regardless of what Rand does, there's always going to be like a positive or negative thing coming from it.
yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, you need the help of like because you can like double your magic people just by training the males to fight at the end of the war.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like once they get the Tarmangeddon, they only got like 800 Aes Sedai and then Rand and maybe some normal armies, but against like the Dark One and like all the Forsaken and the Trollocs and whatever the hell else he has, like because the Dark One and all of them still have the knowledge of the ancient world. So it's like Rand is like, if they even want to compete, then he's like, okay, I gotta train the male half, even though it's very risky, but it's gonna be worth it. And then it's just gonna be crazy. Because right now it kind of seems like Rand's kicking everyone's asses, but he is getting kind of hit every now and again. So he's getting beaten down, but he's fighting back. But I'm just still waiting for that one book that's gonna come where Rand is gonna suffer like a devastating blow, which one on the scale that we haven't seen thus far.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, he kind of lost to the Shan Chan, but the Shan Chan also considered it a loss. So it's kind of just a draw,
Yeah,
really, not like a full loss. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be a point where he like fundamentally fails and has to come back from it.
yeah. I guess we'll see. That's
Yeah,
all
we'll
I had
see.
on the prologue. I mean, there's a lot more that happened, but I mean, it's like little stuff. Like I think there's one with Mogadane, or at least someone talking about Mogadane. But
Yeah, I think that
I
was
don't.
yeah, it was mainly just like saying like I feel like it was just bringing those characters back and be like, hey, they're also here and they're probably gonna play a part at some point.
Yeah, they don't believe that she's under the control of the whatever guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we could, we could continue.
All right. So next note I took here, and I appreciate you bringing up that part at the end there. I forgot about that. So feel free to like interject. Um, so Perrin finds out Fael is kidnapped, and that causes a lot of drama within the group. And then on top of that, obviously, Fael is captured, but then the queen, Oleandre or whatever, is also captured.
Hmm.
And Magdan, who we know is
Yeah.
Morgaze, which is Elaine's mom, obviously.
the
So you got like a lot of strong female characters captured in one fell swoop. And I'll just talk a little bit here about like the conditions they were subjected to. So in the beginning here, obviously Fael's not even supposed to become a guy shine or whatever, the like 1 year slave that you have to become if you get captured. It's like the ideal way or whatever. But the wetlanders aren't supposed to become guy shine. So like the Shido are already kind of breaking that by making the queen and making Fael become a guy shine, but they force him to, walk through the deep snow naked. At some points,
Oh yeah.
Fael's like, yeah, of course, Robert Jordan has him naked, and he takes it a step further, where, they're
Oh.
she's like, they're all struggling to survive. Obviously, it's like a really difficult, obviously, to walk through deep snow, completely without clothes. So Fael's like going in and out of consciousness. She's trying not to like. She feels herself slipping and like almost dying basically. And at one point, one of the Aiel has to like put her on his shoulder and like carry her essentially. And he'll just slap her on the ass and stuff to like keep her awake or something. And
Pronounce spank.
yeah, spank. And I'm like, all right, Robert Jordan. And
Oh
then,
yeah.
there's at one point she's like, I kind of like it because I feel like I'm dying, and that's like the only sensation I can feel right now. And I'm like, okay.
Well, then Fael is such a strong-headed woman that like she's gonna be into that sort of shit too. Because then she was like, oh well, I kind of like it, but I wish it was coming from parent. But
Yeah,
I got
it's just
she's like, but I gotta stay awake.
I was at the
But it's
gym listening to this. It was kind of cringy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like, okay, Robert.
so funny. That's so funny.
It's like
That's
the
it.
like Robert dot dot dot. I'm just like, all right.
It's like, but I feel like for Fael's character, it makes a whole lot of sense because she is like a fiery person, and it's like
I
when
mean,
you
if
get into
I'm
like,
dying in the snow, I don't think somebody slapping me is gonna be like.
well, you're also a man,
I
like,
am a man, but like I don't know, man. It's just it kind of stretches the bounds of like realism to the point. I get it's fine, it's fine.
it's
Robert,
hilarious.
he wants to enjoy writing the book. It's all right.
I enjoy listening to it. But it's when
Yeah.
but yeah, what I liked about that first part is like when Perrin found out, like him and what's the guy's name who loves more gays? Do you remember his name?
Oh my god. You can keep talking. Let me look it
All
up, but I
right,
can't
yeah.
remember. Yeah.
So what I really liked about when they found out is like they went and stood out on like a cliff or something like because Perrin was like smelling for like smeller, but then like lost the smell, and then he just like both of them stood there on the cliff like look staring into the distance so uh majestic like or what's the what's the saying stoicism
Yeah, like stoic, and they kind of were in
stoic
the
yeah
same boat.
yeah
It's Talonvor. That's his name.
talent gosh talon Thor I love it it's nerdy as shit I love
Talonvor
it
with a V.
oh talon vor
Yeah.
I like it
Yep.
but it's a lot of when Fael was getting captured too a lot of like this is was really funny considering like when we have all these strong women together, it's like, okay, so you have the Aiel women, who know what's going on, and they're like, okay, just gotta. This is just This is what happens in our culture, and so they give in. Fail's like, okay, well, there's no point in resisting. We've already been beaten, so we might as well do what they say and think of a way to escape. Then you got like more gays, and and then the other
Yeah,
queen
the
who are
queen.
who are just putting up a fight and like, no, I won't do it, like blah blah, and it feels just like, God, what the hell are you doing? Like you're just like it's inevitable, right? That you're gonna get captured, right? And so she's like, sometimes I feel like she has a queen's temperament, and I was just like,
Hmm.
ah,
No
oh,
way.
no way, oh shit.
I wonder why.
Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting to see. Like, also, since all the women are, like your strong woman kind of character, but they're all different in a way, and that's what I kind of like. That scene is like has all of them together, and you get to see everyone's personalities kind of play out to differentiate them. So
Yeah.
they're not all like the same strong woman. You
Yeah.
know?
I definitely agree. I also think part of it also is I think Fael's been around Aiel more and she kind of knows how intense they are, and again, we're reminded again of like how intense they really are. I mean, the Shido are obviously even more extreme than like the average Aiel, but yeah,
Yeah.
they just they're like machines.
Oh no, I'm just kidding. Uh, yeah. I'm ready to
Um
move on from there.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up here. So they get to the camp, and they have to stop at one point and give them blankets and stuff because they think that they're gonna die. The
And
women.
Fail probably would have.
Yeah, well, absolutely, and like again, the IEL are just so intense, and they think that other people can like withstand the amount of torture that they put on themselves, but generally, other people cannot. But they get to the camp and then they're kind of put in a bind, right? So I think her name's Tharava, which is she's a wise one with the Shido, one of the channelers of the Shido. So she wants the group of women who are captured to spy on Savannah, the leader of the Shido, in exchange for possible freedom if they give good enough information. Like Tharava's like, okay, I might let you escape somehow if you help me with this information. But then Galena is there, which is the Aes Sedai who tortured and captured Rand, right, a while
Yeah.
ago, fought that battle, got captured by, or is with the Shido now, and had to take the Oath Rod and swear to obey the wise ones in the Shido. So she's essentially a slave now. So she comes over and then blackmails them and says, "Hey, like you need to go get the oath rod from Tharava's tent, or else I'm gonna tell everyone who you are, and you're gonna get tortured and killed." So they have they're in a real bind here because they have two really conflicting tasks, right? Like they have to help Tharava because if they don't help Tharava either, she could kill them too or whatever. So it's like it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that because it's two really difficult tasks, and on top of that, they're conflicting. So they're kind of in like a pretty bad spot. And I
Yeah.
know in the beginning, um, Fael's like, oh, maybe there's a way I can figure out how to escape, or maybe there's something I can figure out. And then they talk about at one point that one of the white cloaks that got captured by them tried to escape 9 times and like never got away. So like she's kind of realizing like these are her only outs, like either Galena or Therava.
So, when it came to this scene, my first thought was like, okay, so the wise one is definitely full of shit. There's no way she's gonna let them go. They'd probably kill them before letting them go. Uh, the Aes Sedai is probably the one I would personally go with. I would trust the Aes Sedai over the Shadow Wise one if I was in Fael's position, just because like the Aes Sedai woman, like she doesn't want to be there and be a slave. So it's like you get the Oath Rod to free her, and then now you have her power and yourself and a bunch of other people are gonna have to escape. I could probably trust the Aes Sedai more because even if the Aes Sedai didn't care about like you or your comrades surviving, it would be beneficial to bring them along to potentially distract the Aiel from her so she could get away. So that's sort of the thoughts I would have if I was trying to escape. That's why I'd go with the Aes Sedai.
That's the I had the same thought process where, yeah, like Tharava probably not going to let you out. And even Fael brought up the fact that she's probably got everybody who's Savannah's servant to do this. So they're probably not the only ones who've been told this story. So the odds of them being able to escape is probably really low with Tharava. But on the flip side, with Galena, she's a black Aja, so like she's probably not going to help them unless it benefits her, right? But when she
Oh, yeah, I
gets
forgot she was Black Aja.
yeah, she's kind of a piece of shit, but I mean, we already knew that. But the
Yeah.
but like you said though, you give her the oath frog back, she breaks her oath and reverses it. And worst case scenario, she creates a distraction, like you said, because she's a very powerful Aes Sedai. So like even if she doesn't help you, she might create enough of like, a distraction or a ruckus within the camp that gives you an opportunity to escape, like you said. So I agree with you that I think the Galena path is definitely more optimal than the wise one.
Yeah, if this was a video game, I would pick I'd
If this
probably
is an
pick the Black
RPG,
Aja. Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, these books are kind of like a RPG, I feel like, or yeah, there's all these options, side
Yeah,
quests.
I'm digging it.
Yeah. Um, anything else you had there before I kind of move on?
Not really. If anything does come up, then we'll just bring it up in our later videos.
Okay. So we have another spicy scene. Spicy scene alert. Robert dot dot
Oh,
dot
oh
alert.
boy. He's a
Um,
spicy boy.
spicy boy. So Perrin and his warriors, they almost freeze to death in the snow. Okay, and I believe this is because they were going to like go scout or like try to figure stuff out. Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it was explained. I don't know if I just didn't listen to it very well or if it wasn't explained very well. But anyway, like they almost freeze to death in the snow. Barrelane finds them with her winged guards and brings them back to the camp. And then an Aes Sedai heals them. So Perrin wakes up frustrated. He was in a wolf dream. Um, and he was trying to find Fael in the wolf dream. But he gets upset and another part that I'll just mention within the dream itself is he actually tries to attack Hopper and kill her, which like Hopper has been like almost like I feel like his spiritual guide because it's just a dead wolf in the wolf spear,
Yeah.
if you
Well,
will. So the fact that he
yeah.
tries to kill Hopper just kind of signifies how frustrated and like upset he is because if he kills Hopper in the wolf dream, then Hopper's soul just like disintegrates basically.
Yeah.
So
He
it's pretty
was
intense to like try to do that. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I interrupted you.
Uh,
So
okay.
bleh. So okay, so like in the wolf dream, like Perrin was so like you could this can really show you how much Fael being gone is messing with him since he's like super duper in love with her. And he is just like freaking out, stressed that he doesn't even notice like when he attacked Hopper and he's like, "Oh, I could have killed you." And that would have been bad. I don't want to do that. And then Hopper's like, "Get out of the dream, young bull. You'll die. And if you die in here, you die in real life." You know?
Right.
So it's like I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But it was cool. So yeah, it's cool
No,
to
yeah.
see
I love the wolf
Hopper
dream
again and all
stuff.
that.
Yeah, no, I like the wolf shit.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't gotten lots of like kind of dream segments kind of like this since like book 5, book 4 or 5, I
Yeah, it
think.
used to be like a big part of this series. Like they were constantly in the dream world. It seemed like for a while there. Um, but yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
so so again, spicy alert. But yeah, Perrin wakes up in the tent. Berlane obviously saved him, so it's just him and Berlane in the tent. He's naked under the blankets, supposedly because they're trying to keep him warm. And then Berlane attempts to seduce him. In fact,
Yeah.
even says, like, despite what you've heard, I've only been with two other men. And she was like, the two men I was with was for political reasons, but for you, it's just gonna be for pleasure.
That was so fucking
So
funny.
again, we have an RPG moment. What are you going to do? Go ahead, Josh. What would you do? I know what you would do, but go ahead.
Oh, well, uh, uh,
So
oh
Josh would have sex
golly.
with Barrelane.
I would not do that.
I'm
If
just
I
kidding.
if I was like Perrin, right, and if I was like so upset over the one I truly love being kidnapped by the Aiel and possibly being tortured and killed, probably the sex would probably be the last thing on my mind, and it would probably just piss me off that this bitch is trying to hop on my cock while the one I actually love is like gone. So I'd probably be livid, but like get the fuck out of my tent, you
which
tart.
which is which is how Perrin reacts. Obviously,
Yeah.
well, he doesn't tell her to leave; he just leaves. But
Well, what would you do? Holly's never gonna listen to this.
I'm the same, man. Where I mean, I feel like if you, I would hope, and men, we know how guys are.
Guess you,
We're
guess
guys. We know how guys
you
are.
never truly know until you're in the situation.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I've never had Holly get captured by Aiel and spanked on the way to the camp, and then, but if that happened to me, but I think, I think most we know how men are.
oh my
I think
god,
there's a good amount of men who
that's
would
sexist.
do it, but
Oh
like,
yeah, I'd say
um,
probably 95% of them.
the
There's
optimistic.
not a lot of good people out there.
Right, yeah. The optimistic, not cynical part of me, which I try to listen to more, is like, if you truly love someone that much, like how Perrin loves Fail, yeah, it's not gonna be even an option for you.
Yeah,
You're
and you
you're
gotta
gonna
think
you're gonna
like,
walk out of the tent, especially like you said with the emotional trauma he's going through. It's just a weird. Like, I get why Barrelane wants to be with him. That's fair. But it's just a weird time to try to do that. I feel like if you're trying to seduce someone, that's just such a bad time to try to pull that. Is when he wakes up from almost freezing to death trying to find his wife. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So.
Maybe it's worked before. Like when she says she's only been with like two other men, I don't believe her at all. I would know. Yeah, like some people get a bad rep and it's full of lies and stuff. But we have seen through like Berlin tried to fuck Rand until Rand was just too damn scary, and she
Yeah,
fucked off.
yeah, that's
Like
true. That is true.
she she's like trying to bang Rand, and then his images come to life from the mirrors and start going ape shit. you
Yeah,
know, so it's like who else has she done this with? Like probably, and of course it's like the farm boys who very like well, traditional old school thinking aren't gonna do it, but like when you look at like population wise, there's more people in a city than the country. So if more of that kind of more conservative kind of growing up wise is in the country and not in the city, and more people are in the city, then more people are gonna be like Barrel Lane. More people are gonna be like the people who probably would have banged her in this situation.
yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
I don't know. Who am I?
I just thought it was a funny scene.
Yeah, and then now everyone thinks they banged
Yeah,
because like the
yeah, yeah,
servants like
right.
spreading
Yeah,
rumors.
because now they're gonna spread rumors, and it hurts his reputation.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with the two Rivers men, since
yeah, yeah, because obviously that's a big deal to them, like fidelity and stuff like that. So.
it's great. Cause and then when Fail finds out, and she there's no way she's gonna believe Parent actually did it, right? But just because it's gonna be out there, I don't know. She might get upset. We'll see.
I'm sure they're gonna address it at some point with her whenever, hopefully, whenever she gets back to the camp. But yeah, just just a funny scene.
Well, all right, that's all I had. Are you ready to move on,
Yeah,
or do you got
yeah.
anything else?
No, no, that's it. So the next scene I wrote down, and again, feel free to interject wherever, but Perrin tells Missima. So Missima again is the leader of the Dragonsworn. He's also known as the Prophet. He is he's insane, basically,
Yes.
and very sus. Like he's like, oh, I don't want to travel, and I'm gonna get into this a little more, but. So Perrin's like, hey, Missima, I know I need to take you to Rand because that's what Rand wants. But I have to go south to find my wife because she was captured. So could you go east while I deal with this, and then I will come and deal with you later. And so weirdly, surprise, surprise, Missima is like, nah, let me just come with you. Even though Missima was like super difficult in the beginning, right? Like when Perrin first met Missima, he was like, oh, we have to do it this specific way. Like, I'm not going to take a portal. We have to go down this specific path. So it's weird that Missima immediately is like, okay, yeah, let me just come with you. And then on top of that, he even agrees to use portals to like
Yeah,
get
that
there. So like obviously Robert Jordan is like making this guy look insanely suspicious, right? And it's just another one of those moments where like I can't remember how much Perrin really thought about it, but I don't think he thought too much of it, which I feel like if you're not a dumbass, it would be really obvious that he that he is like aligned with the Shido and they're going to spring a trap on you. But
yeah, just
yeah.
yeah, just like how in the last book there was that prediction that they're gonna get fucked, and then they got
Yes.
fucked. So it's it's pretty obvious that this guy's sus. I mean, he's been sus since the first time we met him when Nynaeve and them were in the circus. So
Yeah, it like the stupidity. I don't know. Maybe Perrin will like consider it more in a later chapter when we get deeper into this. But like the stupidity level of not understanding how Missima is obviously aligned with the Shido, or at least aligned with something against you, just reminds me of like book one when Matt and the other two boys are in that fucking cave with the with what was that? Was it? It's not Morbius. I don't
it
know.
was
It was
it was
Mordith or
that
something, right? Mordith.
I can't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
I'm
They
just
were in
thinking
that
Morbius because of the
city.
like the meme of like
Yeah,
it's morbid
they
time, but it
they
was.
were more of the time. They
But yeah, they're in that city, and then Matt like grabs one of the fucking items when like clearly he should not do that because this guy that Mordith is there or whatever. It's like reminding me of like the same level of stupidity.
Because it cracks me up because you just, especially with the scene with the knife and stuff, and the one you're talking about with Matt and them,
Yeah.
because like you're in a city, and one of the most evil, so it's evil, more evil than like the dark one, right?
Yes.
And then
Exactly.
then you just see some random dude who's just like, follow me, I got treasure, I can't carry it all. And then Matt's like, I'll go by myself, fuck it. And then Rand and Perrin are just like, well, we can't stop you, so we'll join you.
It's like
Like,
the most obvious trap.
Yeah,
And this
I,
Missima thing is also like I feel like the most obvious trap.
yeah. And
Um, yeah.
what I thought was really funny about the Matt Perrin and Rand one is that I remember when we first read it, I told you that that is such a boy thing to do. It's not even funny. Like that's such a fucking like teenage boy thing that it was just hilarious. I loved every minute of it because I'm like, that's probably what we would have done. He
Yeah,
said,
definitely.
"Oh, treasure, fuck it, yeah, let's go, let's do it," because they think they're invincible.
Definitely.
And then now like when he's comparing it to like this scene with like Perrin and the crazy gosh, got off work and my brain's dead.
I feel you.
It's like
I feel it.
Just
That's
like
really
with this scene, it's like Perrin needs to understand this guy's a nut, and I think he's like he's starting to agree with them. Like
yeah.
he's getting there.
I hope obviously I hope as the reader that he like understands that, but obviously for like the story, I'm sure, he needs to walk into the trap and then, you know, have the whole conflict. But I'm interested to see what will happen for sure, but obviously it's looking real sus.
Yeah, because there's already word that this guy is talking with the Shadow and
Yes.
Sanchan.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had for that though. Do you have anything before I move on here?
Uh, maybe I would, but I don't at the moment.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of move on to Elaine's perspective. So like the last few chapters here are more focused on Elaine and what she's up to. There's a lot of details regarding like, Elaine is trying to win the Lion Throne. She'd like to do it organically. She'd like to do it with her own stake, not using the Dragon Reborn's name to instate her on the throne. She thinks it would be better, if she does it herself to get the respect of the people, which is a sound strategy. So there's a lot of details about that. I'm not going to go really specifically into that stuff, but she talks a lot about like what she's trying to do that. Um, Something I thought that was interesting. So uh, Rand sends them 3 Damani to Elaine. And Damani again are like the slaves of the Shan who are female channelers. So they can channel, but they're collared obviously. And Elaine talks about one of them that has been leashed for 400 years and is like a really strong. She would be a really strong Aes Sedai. So there's kind of a debate on like, okay, should we free them? Should we just leave them collared? It's kind of a difficult decision, and we're kind of going back to like the RPG thing of like, what would you do here? But to have an Aes Sedai who has been a slave for 400 years and on top of that is really strong, it's almost like, is there even any point to unleashing her like at this point? But what did you think?
Well, it's complicated because you can already tell that with the slaves, they get so ingrained into their head that they're pets and they like gotta protect their masters, shit like that, or follow the rules. And so I mean that could happen just from like less than a year, let alone 400 years of all that reinforcement. Like I don't know if that person will ever get out of that mindset. I mean, we're I haven't even lived 100 years, let alone 400. Of the same thing being reinforced to you.
Yeah,
So I don't know if like yeah, I mean, if you can try to make them an Aes Sedai, the final battle's coming, like free them. But like the whole conflict with it is like if you release her, she's probably just gonna run right back to the Sanchan, and since she's powerful, 400 years old and all that stuff, she's gonna be kind of a threat to fight. So it's like, do you just keep him on the leash and keep him tame, or do you like release them and then free them? But then they're just gonna run back to their masters anyway. So at that point, you might as well just keep them collared, like Lan said, which pissed them all off. But I mean, like, you like try to free them, but you got to start with the mind first.
yeah,
Because these people are sick in the head due to all the slave reinforcement. So I mean, they like being pet, and like
yeah.
treated like they're treated like animals, basically like pets.
It's like
So
the ultimate example of like Stockholm syndrome. You're given the same kind of pain for so long that you start to actually associate your personality with it. And yeah, I mean 400 years. I mean that is insane. So I thought it was a cool thought experiment of like, again, like an RPG question, like what would you do if you had the choice here? And it sounds like you would free her and try to rehabilitate her, I guess.
I would attempt to rehabilitate, but I'd probably honestly, I know I might sound like a dick for this, but I might wait till after Tarmangeddon or whatever,
Hmm.
after the final fight, just because uh in the situation they're in right now, like just releasing her and her going back to the Sanchan could potentially be a lethal blow. So it'd be better right now maybe to like work on rehabilitation, but probably keep them collared until they're rehabilitated. So I'd probably have to go with Lan on this one, but Lan may have just been saying shit to be a dick because he's a funny guy. I love Lan.
Yeah.
So I
No,
don't know.
I agree with you. If I was playing a video game and like I had the option, I think I would do the same. Where it's like maybe after Tarmangaden, you can evaluate that option, but like I feel like the stakes are just too high at this point, and especially somebody who is 400 years old and is more powerful than Nynaeve, which is described in Nynaeve is supposedly Nynaeve of the three girls is the most powerful when she's angry. So that's like insane that this person is even more powerful than Nynaeve. So like it's definitely a pretty
So,
big threat.
well, so we
Yeah, I think so.
what one thing about scene was when a queen it was Elaine, right? Elaine was like, "Oh, I've heard like rumors and such that because they're like, there's no way with Lan's dead stare and like depressing face that he could ever warm or heat her bed, like heat their bed or whatever, implying that
Yeah.
their marriage and sex is not going as well as Nani says it is. But then during this whole discussion about what to do with the colored ones, like at the end, she sees like Nynaeve and Lan look at each other, and she sees Lan's face like light up and like all this shit, and see
Mm.
Nynaeve is just, and they're both so deeply in love with each other that Elaine's like, oh, there's no problem here. He knows what he's doing. They know what's up. Like,
Yeah, man.
there's no problem here. And I was like, that whole scene, I loved it. It cracked me up.
That was pretty
That's some
funny.
good shit.
And I feel like it's a good I thought it was funny as well, and also it's like a good representation of real life to a certain extent too, where it's like, there's different ways to show love. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be like showing on your face or like emotionally. I mean, that's like the stereotypical way to show it, but there's other ways to show it too, like doing stuff for your partner or like, whatever.
Yeah,
So Land's
yeah, like
just
the whatever.
not gonna be the I
He's
fucking love you.
poetic as fuck.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, Land's
He's
awesome.
yeah, Land's a fucking boss. He's
He is a
he's
baller.
he's, he's bussing.
He's
No
bussing.
cap.
He's bussing. Just bring Loyal back too, okay?
Yeah. Oh, well, I want to discuss this at the
Yeah,
end of
yeah,
this
we can talk
talk. I'll
more
just
about
say
it.
it real quick.
Yeah, go
Where the
ahead.
fuck is Matt and where the fuck is Loyal? All right, we can
Yeah,
talk about it
man.
later.
Yeah.
All right,
All
what do you
right,
got
let's see what I
next
got next
on your
here. Okay,
notes?
so there's more. I believe that after this is still more discussion. And feel free if you want to point out any details. There's more discussion about like Elaine becoming queen. She does a walk through the town, and there's some issues walking through the town. She's thinking about like, okay, what can I do to win the people over, because there's some people who don't like her. I think at one point even she gets doesn't she get knocked down or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, she gets knocked
yeah, she
down.
does, and that's when Brigida was like, "We're gonna have more people with you and more bodyguards," and
Yeah,
Elaine's
we
like,
need we need to
"No,
give you a guard, right? And yeah, she
yeah,
doesn't want to have a guard because she doesn't want to, disassociate herself with the common people more by having a guard. But yeah.
yeah." So she originally like says no, right, and then then the next scene. happens where she's like eating her lunch or whatever, but she always eats by herself. And then
Yep.
yeah, what's that? What was the root called? It was
Yeah,
like
so she has some tea that's drugged with fork root, which is it blocks channeling and it makes you kind of like drunk. It seems like,
yeah,
but
seems like a high dose of melatonin.
yeah, like sleepy, and yeah, you can't channel when you drink it. So and then yeah, obviously some men try to assassinate her. The attempt is broken by the other people in the room. Um, but she does pass out like during this ordeal and then wakes up later. And
Yeah,
that's when,
that
yeah, we go back to the bodyguard discussion where she's like, okay, you know what, you're right. I need some bodyguards.
yeah, and so then she adds that the one this one guy, I think the guy who saved her,
Yes.
and he's kind of a tart too.
Yeah.
So like so like
He's described as
the
like pinching, serving girls and stuff like that. He's like kind of sexually harassing people.
yeah, they're like they'll never think he's a bad guy. He's just a dude.
Right.
He's just a dude. And he's loyal or whatever, and so he'll be fine.
Right.
Let's make that guy the guy.
And of
And like
course, yeah, no, go ahead.
I was like I was like this whole like the whole fight scene I really liked because it was a good change of pace. 'Cause I feel like it was getting kind of slow
Yes.
the last couple chapters. So having like this fight scene and then having like the guys like stabs this woman and she like falls to the ground. Elaine thinks she's dead. There's blood everywhere, and she can't channel. She's
Right.
trying to bluff. Like, can she channel? And then the guy pauses and is like, "Oh, wait, I guess she can't. She would have done it already." And then out of nowhere, fucking sword through his mouth, like through the back of his head. And I'm just like, damn, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So I was just excited to get another fight scene because I was like, been a little bit,
Definitely a lot of talking in this section for sure.
but of course we've. I don't want to skip too far ahead, but like, should we just say it? Cause fuck it. I mean, you probably, you know,
Oh yeah, no, yeah, go ahead, man.
yeah. So the guy who Brigida and Elaine put in like command of Elaine's bodyguards is actually working for the Forsaken and the
Right.
Dark One.
Of course.
That
Which
was, yeah,
is
I,
probably why the assassination attempt occurred was to get him in better standing. Um
yeah. And it was so cool because the way it was described, like in this chapter, it's like, okay, they make a pretty good point of why he's probably a good dude. And then like the like chapter 10 or whatever, just it goes and it's like, oh, this guy walks in, and then they're all talking. And then you don't realize it's the same guy until the end of the chapter where he's like, oh,
right.
guess who became like captain of the whatever, and it's just like I was like, damn, I could keep reading, but but I can't because of book club. How
I
dare you?
know. Yeah, nice little cliffhanger at the end there.
So I know I skipped ahead because I just didn't want to wait to just reveal that. I mean, everyone's read this if they're even this far listening. So
No, and I think that's pretty much the main point anyway. I mean, really all they do is they meet in the dream world and that's like the main thing to take away from it. I mean, that's pretty much it that I wrote down. So
yeah,
but yeah, now that we're kind of at the end here, just talking about yeah, Loyal and Matt. Still don't know what has happened to Matt. He got crushed under the wall.
yeah.
Still
We
don't know. Yeah.
that happened. Did that happen 2 books ago, or was that the end of the last book? I
God,
can't remember.
I'm trying to remember now, but it seems like it's been a really long time.
Yeah, I feel like he wasn't in the last book,
Cause not only
or
is
was it?
he got crushed under the wall, he's in a Shan Chan occupied city. So like even if he
Yeah.
wakes up in the city, I mean he's probably a prisoner. So
See, that's what I was thinking is that since the Sanshan and are if they're teaming up with this priest guy and they're all who's also teamed up with the Shadow, is that like they'll all like meet up. Like Perrin will probably find Matt as well as Fail is my guess.
Yeah,
But we'll see. I don't know.
that'd be cool.
Just
Yeah,
want to see Matt.
I could see that for sure. Yeah, me too,
But
man. I just want to see some Matt. I want to see some Loyal. And I understand like why Loyal is not really a big part of the quote unquote like the fellowship anymore, really. But you know, you got Lan in there. You know, Lan's hanging out. Just have Loyal hang out. You know, Lan
yeah,
Lan doesn't have a ton of value anymore either. I mean, he's just kind of a warder now. There's like a million warders, so it's like whatever. But you
he's
know,
the best of the warders.
yeah, man. But
Yeah.
Loyal's the best Ogier,
That was
so he has a huge axe.
he does.
Nothing more
Uh,
badass than when they did the defense of the two rivers and the scene where Loyal's just like
dual
clawing, like
wielding.
yeah, fucking dual wielding against these fucking Trollocs was like,
Like, I don't like to kill anybody, Perrin. Like, he just reminds me of a smarter version of Lenny.
yeah, from Of Mice and Men, very much
Yeah,
so. The book smart version of
like
Lenny.
the political correct version of Lenny.
Yeah,
Now it's like, yeah, I want some loyal. I want some Matt. And like, I don't know what's up with Matt being gone for so long, but I guess that kind of happens with like Rand's always there, but it's either Perrin or Matt who's absent.
yes, I feel like that's definitely been the pattern through this series so far. Is like Robert Jordan will kind of switch between them and focus on one of them for a long time, and then focus on the other one for a long time, and which is
And
fair. But
yeah, I kind of feel like with the way his writing style is and the way the story's going, it probably makes more sense to do that because if he had to add like because not only like all the girls have their main story, then you have Rand's main story, and then if he kept Matt and Perrin like at the same time, that's like four main stories to do in one book, and everyone's story is long. It's like
yeah, I agree. I mean, at this point, I mean, if you're gonna add more characters, it's just gonna make this well. Obviously, we know how long this series is at this point, but yeah, adding more characters would have just made it even more insane and more bloated.
yeah, which I mean I don't know if that was the true intention or not,
Yeah,
but yeah, I do want some Matt and Perrin, but we've taken quite a long break from Wheel of Time, and so I've been super excited like finally get this book read or like started to read it because I want to get to that ending. Everyone's hyped it up so much. I gotta know.
definitely, man. I'm super excited to see how this ultimately plays out as well. And I mean, it is really fun. It's a good series, you know. And taking that break that we did, reading some other books, really helped me appreciate too this series again because I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, that's why like when people still say that like we're in like the slump section, and I guess I still like it, but it's like I guess when you compare it to like the first three books are outstanding. Then the next like series of three books are really good. There's a lot going on. And yeah, I guess these books so far have been a little slower paced, I would say, than the other ones. Uh, but they're also shorter. So I feel like if you're reading them back to back to back, once you get like 7, 8 books in and it starts just being slower, that's where people are like, oh, it's such a slump, or oh, I'm not as interested because like before it was a lot faster paced considering compared to this part. So uh this part's just taking more time, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with you
It's
completely.
the calm before the storm.
Exactly. You gotta have a middle part. You gotta have a little bit more development. We gotta deal with the Sean Chan. I understand. So I've been
Yeah.
enjoying it. But
What's
yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
you sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, what are your predictions for the rest of the book?
I think we'll see some Matt. I'm really hoping we will. Um, I think I think that when you made that point of like maybe the intersection between Perrin and Matt, I think we'll see some Matt. I think Perrin's gonna spring the trap. At least at this point, it looks like he isn't aware of how obvious it is that Massima is working with these other groups. But I guess we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, what are some of your predictions?
Well, I think Matt's probably gonna show up towards the end of the book somehow, some way. Uh, I think the son nuts. I think the uh, what are they called?
Sean
The
Chan?
shadow.
Oh,
Jesus.
Shido. Yeah, Shido.
Yeah, I
It's a
was
lot
just
of
having a brain
S's, a lot
fart.
of fucking
Yeah,
S names. Yeah.
I was like, I think the shadow are gonna be destroyed at the end of this book. I think, and then I think that at the end of this book, it'll finally set up like the siege of Tarvalin, and I don't know. I don't think Rand will destroy the dark half of the. I don't think he'll destroy the taint. This book, I think he's going to attempt, and this is going to be his first big flop, like real big. I mean, he did have a big flop like the other one where he like killed a bunch of his own men and shit, but the battle was still kind of won. So, but I feel like this book he's gonna fail, and Min's with him, and that's a little sketch. So we'll see.
Oh,
Hopefully she
yeah.
stays safe.
Yeah, you think she might die?
I really hope she doesn't. So she's my favorite out of the three. And you know what's so crazy now is like looking back and seeing how like Rand and Egwene were like they just grew up thinking they'd be together just because their families were close and stuff. So they're like, we know it's gonna happen, and like they went from that to their relationships now, where it's like once they like stop to really think about it, they would never have been like together. You know, like
Yeah,
if they were in a bigger place, like
yeah.
they still like care for each other and stuff, but they're not. They would never would have been like in love. They only like thought they were because they were in such a they're like built up grown up that way. I don't think that's I'm not trying to be like random coming out with that. It's just it reminded me of like men and
Excuse me. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think it's interesting to talk about that as well, since I don't think we've brought up that relationship in a long time. But I feel like it almost symbolizes, like, of course, like you said, they grew up in a small town, so you kind of marry or date whoever's closest to you. In that case, in this case, their families were really close. But it also kind of represents, in my mind, like what happens when you get older. When you're a little younger, you kind of think like you're gonna be with one person, or maybe you're gonna find that person, or maybe you date someone, whatever, high school or whatever time period it is, and you think, oh, I could be with this person like for a really long time, and then you get older and it's like you look back on it and you're like, nah, like that would
what have I
never.
done?
Yeah, that would, like, at the time it made sense, but now that I'm this age, looking back on it, like we didn't, that would not have worked long term. So yeah, I kind of like that Robert Jordan kind of did that 180 where it's like.
Yeah, because I remember at one point, way before we started recording when we were reading this, and I was like, yeah, I still think he's gonna end up with the Egwene
Yeah,
just
yeah.
because just because the walls. I don't know. I still think he was gonna do it. But that was probably around like 3 or 4. And now that we're on book 9, I'm like, there's just no way I cannot see it now.
it,
Ever
it would be very
happening.
odd without more development of their relationship, like at this point his relationships with the other three women are so much more fleshed out that it's like he would have to have more stuff like that with Egwene to even justify, Rand going back to her. So like, yeah, I feel like really unlikely that
Yeah.
that he goes back.
It's just the way he met everyone the first time, especially like the first time he met Elaine, he basically snuck into their castle yard accidentally, and like
Yeah.
then Avienda was just like, I'm in the desert now.
I
I
hate
don't know.
you. I hate
I hate
you.
I hate
Yeah, I
you.
hate you. And then
I,
yeah,
and then they fucked.
yeah, it created a lot of sexual tension, and then
You're forced to sleep in his room. I don't want to sleep in his room. Oh, I don't. I
yeah.
don't want you to sleep in my room. But okay, I'll sleep in your room. What? It's
Oh
basically
man, yeah,
how
this
it went.
series is it's great.
I like it.
No, me too. It's got
Yeah.
everything. It's got
Yeah.
something for everyone.
Like I can't. Right as of right now, I can't really compare it to the Dark Tower because it's such a different series
Yes.
and tone and everything. So it's like who writes sexual stuff better, Stephen King or Robert Jordan?
Well, Robert Jordan is like mainstream relation. Like
It's
it's like how mainstream people write relationships. I feel like Stephen King is just like, what's the weirdest fucking shit I can do?
yeah,
But
that doesn't tell me which one you like better.
yeah. Stephen King, of course, dude.
Oh, of course, yeah. I do see. I like Stephen King's weird shit, but I also like Robert Jordan's mild take on it
Yeah,
too.
there's value in both. Like Robert Jordan's is kind of like more like sitcom, like feel good
It's
relationships, and then like Stephen King is like, what the fuck? Kind of.
Stephen King. It's like she fucked a snake.
Yeah.
You know if you know.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then, would you consider that a spoiler?
No, they're not gonna know what that
Uh,
means.
all
All right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do. You said we're gonna do 8 chapters next, right?
Because I think if we just do 8 chapters for the next 3 weeks, we'll finish it out.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just great.
Okay. So 11 through 19 will be next.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
18. 11 through 18.
That's 8 chapters. Yeah, because 11 starts as like one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I could
Okay.
see where you'd get. Are you an accountant?
I was thinking 11 plus 8, but that's not how it works with reading the chapter. So,
yeah.
because we read the
Yeah.
11th.
Okay. That's
Okay.
funny.
Cool. Well, 11 through 18. I'll kind of. Do you have anything else before we kind of wrap up here?
The only thing is, I am super excited to finally get back to Wheel of Time, and that's it. I'm excited. It might not
Absolutely.
sound like it because I got off work and I'm tired.
No, it's really refreshing to come back to this series. I really do enjoy it. So it was nice to take the break and then come back. But yeah, we'll do 11 through 18. Just want to say thank you to anybody listening or 5 to 10 viewers who listen. But again, any feedback is appreciated. Please give us a like or a comment on YouTube, or follow us on any podcast website that you listen on. But we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Smell you later, Red.